think maybe like my first few years I had a teammate who's like, you gotta eat to grow and you gotta sleep to grow. I'm really good at those two things. And so
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a factor in being a strong boy. Looks like some gymnastics with the team. I think they all competed at nationals this weekend, so they might be a little beat up, so we might have to adjust some things, but we're just gonna get in the best we can.
And you've been doing this now for a long time, like
too long.
What keeps you motivated to keep going?
Long time. I do love what I do.
Yeah.
I love to train. I've always loved to train. I do still have some goals I haven't reached yet. I was actually thinking about this the other day, like when I started when I was maybe 19, if you had shown me my athletic career, like at that point, I would have been just like, wow, like I did a great job, but I would also be like, look at it and be like, have you not won it all? Like, and so I think that's something that still pushes me. I definitely still want to win. It's been eluding me for a few years now, but it doesn't make me, I don't feel like disappointed that I haven't made it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you wake up and be like, because you've traveled the world, you've lived in so many different countries, you've competed literally all over the world. Do you pinch yourself every now and again and think like, oh, young Tola would have been like, yeah, good job?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that sometimes it's hard to be grateful in the moment for all the experiences that you have, but I know that I've taken a lot of risks and done a lot of interesting things that I think, you know, maybe 5-10 years down the line, I'll look back and be like, I'm so glad I did that. As I said, in the moment, it's like, oh, I have to train and like do this and get this done and get this done. But I am grateful for all the experiences that I've had. We haven't done as much team training as I'm used to, but honestly, like, I don't think anyone's stressed about it.
Okay.
Having a good time whenever we do team train. It's really fun since we don't do it every day. We like look forward to it. It's a little different. Like, I think it's a great environment. The coaching is hands-on in my experience. I think that's a good thing. You know, I like to get feedback and I also like to question the intent of the program, and I like that there's always a clear answer on that. I'm not a fan of like busy work, so to call it, just like doing something just to do it. I want to know like what's the progression or what are we working towards. And I think that's been pretty clear for me this year, and I like that, and I see the improvement.
But what's it been like being here in this environment with all the Krieger athletes and, like you said, the coaches and stuff?
Not just the Krieger athletes, but the European athletes in general are very experienced in their endurance, and so that's very nice for me and also very humbling to know that, like, no matter the piece, like, someone's going to smoke you. But it also, you know, there's always someone to compete against. If you're a competition-driven person, in training, I'm not the most competition-driven person.
He's not competitive at all, so he's so...
Is he not? No.
But it's nice to know, like, where you're at, like, seeing progress from month to month. Like, for example, like, Oda and Vor are great people to kind of base that off of, because they're just really good at CrossFit. Okay, maybe at the beginning I was like 2 minutes behind them, and now it's like a minute or like 30 seconds. Like, okay, we're creeping up, and I know they're gonna do well in CrossFit style things. Generally, qualifiers are a little simpler in that regard because you don't have as much equipment, and obviously everyone has to be able to do it with pretty standard equipment. And so being close to them in those kind of workouts gives good confidence for a qualifier, stuff like that, which is generally something I struggle with a bit.
It's been a long year already. I'm sure your body probably feels it.
Yeah.
What's lined up for the rest of the year for you now?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm leaving Norway on Thursday. Things just didn't work out with the residency that I was trying to get, which we actually didn't expect at all. We thought it was going to be pretty straightforward for us. and so that's kind of a surprise. But you know, there's only so much you can do, and as a non-Norwegian and non-European, like I don't really have much of a say in the matter. If they say you have to go, you have to go. And so it's definitely added a little bit of stress to like, okay, I'm gonna have to get back into routine as quickly as possible to make sure that, you know, I give myself a good chance for the qualifiers coming up in a few weeks, and then also trying to manage prepping for the games when I'm not around my team is not something that's super familiar to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I maybe have the most team experience of maybe top 3 guys ever.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be still like a really fun experience, and I'm so confident in the team. Like what we're gonna lack in the together time, we can make up in other areas. And I think if we all agree on that and know that, you know, some things are going to be ideal and some things aren't, that's okay. And I also know that there's been plenty of teams that have won or done really well that haven't trained together like a lot during the season. And so it's not super stressful for me, but it's definitely an added stressor.
WFP qualifiers coming up in 2 weeks' time. Then it's the games, as people can see you next. And then after that, depending on how qualifiers go, you could be back in the States again end of August, right?
Yep, end of August. And so we got a busy few months coming up. Probably end of August, I'll probably look forward to taking September pretty chill. I think that's going to be something interesting to navigate. I'm usually used to having a fairly long off season and taking it very easy, and I think that's part of the reason I've been able to do this for so long is that I take my unserious time seriously. To make sure that, you know, I'm able to like mentally and physically decompress. And I think that time is just going to be shorter, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to navigate that. But there's also a few off-season competitions that I would really like to do as well, and so it's just going to be you know, finding the best way to manage that and like manage the body and manage like the stress on the nervous system.
Two questions. You're freakishly strong. How is that possible? Secondly, your commitment to mobility is one thing that stood out for me from the time I spent with you, is how long you spend doing mobility. That's crazy.
Well, just the first one first. I think in CrossFit I'm freakishly strong and like to a normal person, but like I've just done so many sports and kind of have such a broad knowledge of like what elite level strength is, and I'm like, I'm on the upper tier, but I wouldn't say it's like freakish. Because I know some freaks who can just do like wild things. I think they tie into each other. I do take my mobility pretty seriously, and so I think part of it's that I can hit really good positions with the high load. I'm not scared I'm gonna like go too deep in a squat or catch a little wide. Like I know like I have the flexibility to do that. But I think I also really enjoy the linear progressions of strength. I think it just makes sense to me. Like do a little better, a little better, a little better, and you get stronger. I think maybe like my first few years I had a teammate who's like, you gotta eat to grow and you gotta sleep to grow. I'm really good at those two things. And so I think that's definitely a factor in being a strong boy.
Love that.
And then the mobility part, I just love it. I love the way it makes me feel. You're not gonna feel good all the time. Most of the times you're gonna have like, a little this and a little that. The more manageable I can make that, I know the better I'm going to be able to train. Like, if I know that like doing a burpee is gonna hurt my wrists, I'm like, I'm not gonna wanna do that thing. Or when I do it, it's just not gonna be the best of my ability. So if I can make most things feel more manageable, I think that's a plus.
to as a team?
I think it depends. I think with an individual, it's maybe less nerve-wracking because you can only do as well as you can do. But on a team, depending, like if there's a workout where you know you're going to be the struggle bus, then it's maybe more nerve-wracking because like you don't want to let your teammates down. I think that's just really hard for a lot of people to manage on the floor. I think the more experience you have, the better you can do with that. Just knowing that like your teammates are going to push you to go further than you think you can, and also like if things don't go your way, like that's just part of the game sometimes.
You're a gamer.
Yeah.
3 games that you can't live without. Or your 3 favorite games of all time.
Okay. I had to cold turkey quit World of Warcraft like years ago.
Yeah.
Press /played and it'll tell you your playtime
Yeah.
across all of your accounts. And I mean, I played for a few years, but I was up to like almost a year of played time.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't actually play this game. I played it for a little bit, but I watch professional League of Legends.
Yeah.
Generally LCK. I don't really know why, but I like to watch it and it gets me fired up. And
You don't play it?
I don't play it. I used to play. So
Yeah.
like I understand the way the game works and what happens, but T1 is my team. They just qualified for the mid-season invitational, which you love to see.
Love that.
Third game, I'm gonna go with probably like a board game. This I do not hold myself back on. I love Catan. I have a pretty good track record with Catan.
Oh, you do?
I do.
I don't, so I can't say anything. No.
It's called Catan Universe. It's like you can play online.
And you're good on there too?
Grandmaster Moose.
Let's go. Put that in there.